Hey moms and dads, Dr. Scott Haggerty. In this video, we're going to talk about two powerful tools that you can use to help to improve yours and your children's stress today. So guys, this is something that we deal with literally every day in my practice because our practice base is primarily kids that are dealing with autism, ADHD, sensory issues, anxiety issues, behavioral issues, lots of emotional stuff. And we take care of their moms and dads who also deal with tons of stress and anxiety. So in this video, what I want to focus on for you is simple solutions and strategies that you can use at home. Because many times there are things that we need to implement that will help with filling in the gaps to supplement what we're doing here with the care process. Because when we do care in our office, right, there is the process that we go through with adjusting and lasers and the things that we do that help to dramatically impact and change a child's or an adult's nervous system. But there is stressors that you're exposed to outside of here that sometimes we need to do a little bit extra so that we can help to move things a little faster or help to control some of the stress responses in the earlier stages if there is a bigger issue with stress. Not everyone needs this, but I can tell you, especially with adults, I tend to recommend this more. And with kids with more extreme stress cases and things like seizures, I tend to recommend these a lot. So the two different things, and I'll reference these, I'll drop links to these here into the comments, that we're going to talk about is number one, the Apollo Neural Bracelet, which is an external vagus nerve stimulator. If you know anything about the way that the nervous system functions, the way that you can help a child with any number of neurodevelopmental challenges, the key is one thing. You have to stimulate the vagus nerve. And so you have to then look at what ways can I stimulate the vagus. There is physical exercise, there is adjusting, which, by the way, the adjustment is the most powerful way. There is things like guided visualizations and meditations and yoga and all kinds of different stuff. But then there's also new technology that's coming out that allows us to stimulate the parasympathetics by doing things like brain tap and by doing things like Apollo neural bracelets, to name a couple. And I say these because I vetted lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of different products over the years. And there are a couple of big issues that you run into with many different types of tools that are able to impact the nervous system. But oftentimes, when you are dealing with a very busy schedule, a very busy life, a lot of stress, compliance is issue number one. I find that many things that can help oftentimes are too hard to put into your life. And so a patient's compliance is pretty low if it's not easy for them to do. Well, I found two technologies that number one are really easy and number two are super effective. So let's jump first. I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to talk first and foremost about the Apollo Neuro. And so what's neat about the Apollo is that this device is um, a wearable piece of technology that allows you to just very directly stimulate your vagus nerve, but do it in a way that is super powerful and has lots of great evidence behind its impact. So let's take a look at this here together, guys. So let me pull my screen up and we will dive in. Here we go. All right, so first, let's talk about the Apollo, and I'll take you back here so you can see what this looks like. It's a wearable device. You can wear it either on your wrist or on your ankle, okay? And so what's nice, let me get rid of little pop-ups there, is that there's a lot of good research. They've got 9 completed clinical trials and 9 ongoing. So let's take a look at some of these so you can see what some of the results have been. So this first one here was a study that was done where they wore the Apollo 3 hours a day, 5 days a week over a 3-month span. And they showed an average increase of 19% average increase in deep sleep, 14% increase in REM sleep, 6% average increase in total sleep time, and 4% average decrease in resting heart rate. Now, those are some pretty good numbers for a pretty short-term study. So an 11% average increase in HRV, that's big. We use heart rate variability technology as a primary testing tool for all of our patients with a starting baseline. So this is a testing technology and a tool that we really resonate with because HRV is considered to be the gold standard in how you measure a person's ability to handle stress. Let's go to this next one, cognitive performance. Well, when you stimulate the vagus, you improve brain function very directly. And so check this one out. This was a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled crossover clinical trial. And so what it found is that there was up to a 25% increase in focus and concentration, 10% average increase in HRV. So this was healthy adults, 38 people, and the primary outcome they were measuring was cognitive performance. It was they did measurements on things like self-reported stress, pupil dilation, galvanic skin responses, respirations, EEG tests, and HRV. So all these research studies, by the way, are accessible directly. This was a cool one. I liked seeing this one because there are so many folks in healthcare, especially over the course of the last couple of years, who have been crazy stressed out. You know, the world that we lived in changed so much when COVID hit, and the amount of stress that our healthcare workers went under was just massive. So check this out. So in a skilled nursing facility in Pittsburgh, they showed that there was a 40% less stress and anxiety on average. Now, guys, I can tell you, we've really specifically been monitoring stress and anxiety responses with a lot of our female patients who deal with a lot of stress and anxiety, because women, for some unknown reason, well, I think a lot of us can start to hypothesize, right? Women tend to carry the entire family stress. I know in my family, my wife definitely carries everyone's stress, everyone's schedule, everyone's load, and I think we can make some generalities that this is pretty common amongst moms and amongst women, that they tend to be the ones who carry the stress of the family. And so what's nice is it was small sample size, 12, but to see a global 40% average improvement is a pretty big number. So you look at some of these things, guys, like these are big. Like you continue going down, there's improved athletic recovery, improved meditation, all these little things that add up to big things. I can tell you that I personally have been doing HRV study follow-ups on all of our patients that wear the Apollo. And what's been really cool with these things is that we see the same thing in what we are seeing, is that the patients that we have wearing these Apollos are seeing really big improvements in their overall stress adaptability, self-reported, and really big improvements on our HRV measurements. And so since this is a big part of what we measure, this really resonates because it's a big time quality of life impact for those patients. So let's step over and talk about the BrainTap technology. And I think this is a really cool technology, guys. I happen to love this. I have been a big believer in BrainTap for a long time because I myself am a BrainTap user on a daily basis. So I've really been kind of digging into this technology for a long time because of the fact that BrainTap is something that is pretty easy to implement. All you do is you download the app on your phone. You can, I know with, I can drop a link here because what Dr. Porter and the team does, they allow you to try the technology out for 2 weeks before you pay for anything. So you can see it for yourself first. But what's really neat about the way that BrainTap works is that the app itself is really designed to help to calm your brain down in very tangible ways. So let's take a look at some of the information on this here that's pretty neat. So BrainTap helps to change brainwaves, okay? And it does it through a combination of guided visualization and meditation, binaural beats, isochronic tones, and 3D holographic music by just using things like the audios. You can really step it up where you can bring in like lights and things like that when you get into the headset. I personally have never had to get to that level, but I can tell you that having used the technology myself for quite some time, it has been an absolute game changer for my quality of life, my sleep, my stress, focus, attention. Because one of the biggest things that you find that happens with folks that are dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety is you tend to get stuck in these things called beta waves that you see in the upper left-hand side of the screen. We need to be flexible. We need to be able to go back and forth through the different brainwave states to have the best possible level of brain function. So, for example, if you're having difficulty sleeping, then you are likely not getting into the deep sleep and recovery delta waves. So you need to be able to go back and forth so that you can focus, so that you can start relax, so that you can be creative, so that you can learn. All of these different things, you have to be able to go flexibly through the different brainwave states based upon what you need to do at that point in time. So the goal of the technology is quite literally to help your brain to get there. Because what happens is you download the app, put it on your phone, and you start using the programs. Now, I personally started using the SleepRx program that you can see up here on the screen. And so what's nice is that this program has really been, there it is. A little bit more about the program there. Let me step back actually out of this, guys. I'm going to go over here because I want to kind of stay focused on what the app does itself. So it combines these different technologies, the tonal therapies, the guided visualizations, the holographic music all together so that it can change your brain. So, for example, when you start with doing things like the binaural beats, right? What they do is when you listen to them, they create this process by which they are shown to calm your brain, balance your brain, to get your right and your left side of the brain in sync, and helping to go and create flexibility in your brainwave states. They use the guided visualizations as an exercise. You listen to it, you go through guided visualization. It helps to retrain the brain so that your nervous system creates the neurological toolkit so that you're able to calm yourself, deal with stress better, focus better, do better memory recall, whatever it is that you are focusing on. You have the holographic music, and this is pretty cool because when you listen to it, it sounds different than regular music, but it has a very soothing impact on your nervous system. And so then you've got the isochronic tones. And so what's interesting about those, and I'll read this, it says isochronic tones are equal intensity pulses of sound separated by an interval of silence. They turn on and off rapidly, but the speed depends upon the desired brain frequency. The discrete nature of isochronic tones makes them particularly easy for the brain to follow. When binaural beats rely on balanced hearing in both ears, isochronic tones work effectively for nearly everyone, except for someone with complete hearing loss. This is one of the reasons BrainTap's proprietary algorithm incorporates both types of tones. So these isochronic tones help to bring the left side and the right side of the brain back into balance. So there's some really cool effects on this. And based upon what your goals are with the program, right? If you're specifically trying to calm down stress and anxiety, then what you would do is you would go into things like the Stress Free Me program, because on the mobile app, there is a wide array of different programs. And I will tell you, I happen to really love this one here called Stress Free Me. This program here has a number of different programs where that are specifically designed to train your brain to better be able to adapt to stress. And so there's this one up at the top you see create your intent forest and mountaintop retreat. I happen to love those. Those programs specifically, I have found to be very beneficial personally for being able to create better ways to compartmentalize your stress in a way that stressors that you've been exposed to, things that you've dealt with, that they are able to be more readily accepted and adapted to and neurologically packaged so they don't have as big an impact on your life. Because part of stress and anxiety is your nervous system gets wired into a state of fight or flight. And so to calm your nervous system down, you have to literally alter your brain's wiring so that you can better adapt to stress. This is a really amazing tool to be able to do this because when you listen to the program and you run through the exercises, you do the binaural beats and the isochronic tones, listen to the 3D holographic music, all of these things are wrapping your brain up in this really cool input that helps your brain to be able to change the way that it responds to common stressors because you're learning a new way. So I would highly encourage you if you're dealing with stress and anxiety or you have someone that you love that is, try this because it's just a great program. If you're dealing with more high level like worry, really struggling, then you can use these worry free me programs because these really help to deal with more of like the ever present high level anxiety type stuff where you can't turn your mind off. This is a great program for that. So depending upon where you are, if you're just high level stress, and you're really looking to try and like bring it down, or you're dealing with more acute worry, stress, anxiety type stuff, then do the Worry Free Me program. Both are great. Both will get you to similar places. I tell you, if you have a higher level of anxiety right now, the Worry Free Me program is definitely the one that I would start with if I were you. Because ultimately, the big thing is that you have to retrain your brain and your nervous system to respond differently to the stressors that you're exposed to. If you can really start changing the way that your brain responds to stress by either wearing the Apollo Neuro or listening to the Brain Tap or both, you will find profound changes in your brain, your nervous system, your quality of life by implementing these because they're different. The Apollo Neuro is literally an external vagus nerve stimulator that every time it goes off, it activates your vagus. And it helps to keep your brain calm, helps to lower stress levels, helps to improve your heart rate variability, and it over time rewires the brain and the nervous system to globally change. Sometimes we need more targeted approaches, which is where the brain tap comes in. And it allows you to have two very distinct and different tools that you can utilize simultaneously. Listen to the brain tap, wear the Apollo Neuro. Both will get you to the desired place of feeling less stressed, being happier, having less anxiety, and feeling like you have more control over yourself versus dealing with a chronic state of anxiety that you have no control over because you don't have the tools and the resources. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions, wherever you are watching this video, do me a favor. I would love it if you could drop your comments beneath so that we can respond to your comments and then do follow-ups, give you tips and answers. And I will also make sure to drop links for both the Apollo and the Brain Tap so you can check these out for yourself and hopefully try them out and see how you like them. Okay, guys, this is Dr. Scott Haggerty for the Healthy Podcast. Thank you so much for listening in, and I look forward to seeing you